Most people think self-care is about comfort. You've been told to treat yourself, to indulge, to take a break from the hard things. So you do. You scroll through your phone for hours. You binge that show. You eat the entire pint of ice cream because you deserve it. And for a moment, maybe you feel better. But then tomorrow comes, and you're right back where you started. Drained, lost, overwhelmed. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Comfort isn't self-care. Comfort is a painkiller. It numbs you temporarily, but it doesn't heal you. It doesn't build you. And deep down, you know this. You know because after all those bubble baths and cheat days, you still don't feel whole. You still don't feel strong. You still don't feel like you. So what's missing? What are we getting wrong? The Stoics had a radically different view of self-care. For them, taking care of yourself wasn't about avoiding discomfort. It was about embracing it. It wasn't about escaping responsibility. It was about stepping into it with clarity and strength. They believed that self-love isn't something you feel. It's something you build through discipline, through mental clarity, through self-respect. Think about it. When you avoid the hard conversation, when you hit snooze 5 times, when you choose distraction over action, are you really loving yourself? Or are you betraying the person you're capable of becoming? The ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca faced wars, exile, slavery, and unimaginable hardship. They didn't survive by retreating into comfort. They thrived by building inner fortresses, minds so disciplined, so clear, that nothing external could shake them, and they did it through daily habits, simple practices that sharpened their character and deepened their self-respect. In this video, you're going to discover 5 Stoic habits that will completely change the way you see self-care. These aren't soft, fluffy rituals. These are practices that will rebuild your inner strength, sharpen your mind, and help you love yourself at a level you've never experienced before. They'll make you unstoppable, not because you'll never struggle, but because you'll know how to face struggle without falling apart. If you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're ready to stop numbing and start building, then stay with me. And before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Type unstoppable in the comments if you're committed to seeing this through. Because what you're about to learn isn't just philosophy. It's a blueprint for becoming the kind of person who doesn't need constant reassurance, who doesn't crumble under pressure, who loves themselves through action, not just affirmation. Let's begin. Before we dive into the 5 habits, we need to understand what the Stoics actually meant by self-care, because their definition might surprise you. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was once a slave, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Read that again. Master of himself. Not comfortable with himself. Not validated by others. Master. To the Stoics, self-care was self-mastery. It was about taking control of your mind, your reactions, your choices. It was about becoming someone who could look at hardship and say, "This doesn't control me." Modern self-care culture tells you to be gentle with yourself, and there's a place for gentleness. But the Stoics would ask, are you being gentle or are you being weak? Are you honoring your needs or are you avoiding your potential? True self-love, in the Stoic sense, means holding yourself to a standard. It means saying no to the easy dopamine hit and yes to the hard, meaningful work. It means treating yourself with the same seriousness you'd treat someone you deeply respect. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote in his private journal, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." He wasn't journaling about self-acceptance. He was journaling about self-discipline, about becoming, about action. That's the shift we're making today. We're not abandoning self-compassion, we're elevating it. We're saying, I love myself too much to let myself stay weak. I love myself too much to settle for comfort over growth. So, with that foundation, let's talk about the 5 Stoic habits that will transform you from the inside out. These practices aren't about perfection. They're about progress. They're about building a version of yourself that you can genuinely respect. Ready? Here's the first habit. The first Stoic habit is morning self-examination. And no, this isn't journaling your feelings. This is something far more powerful. Every morning, before the world grabs your attention, you sit with yourself and ask 3 questions. Who do I want to be today? What challenges will I likely face? How will I respond when things don't go my way? Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He'd remind himself every morning, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. But he didn't stop there. He'd mentally prepare for the difficult people he'd encounter, the frustrations, the setbacks. He'd rehearse his responses, not to control outcomes, but to control himself. Here's why this habit changes everything. Most people start their day reactive. The alarm goes off, they grab their phone, and within seconds, they're flooded with notifications, news, other people's opinions. Their mind becomes a battlefield before they've even had a chance to center themselves, and then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed. Morning self-examination flips that. It makes you the first voice you hear. It puts you back in the driver's seat of your own life. So here's how you do it. Set aside 10 minutes every morning. No phone, no distractions, just you and a notebook. Write down or mentally review these prompts. What kind of person do I want to be today? Not what you want to achieve, who you want to be. Patient, focused, courageous, name the qualities. What obstacles might I face today? Your commute, a difficult conversation, temptation to procrastinate. Name them. How will I respond to those obstacles with virtue? Not how you hope to respond, how you will respond. This is rehearsal. This is mental preparation. When you do this, something profound happens. You're no longer at the mercy of your circumstances. You've already decided who you are before life tests you. And when that test comes, when someone cuts you off in traffic, when your boss is unreasonable, when you're tired and tempted to quit, you don't have to scramble for a reaction. You've already chosen. This is self-care because it's self-respect. You're not ignoring your struggles. You're preparing for them. You're treating your mind like an athlete treats their body, with discipline, with intentionality, with care. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Morning self-examination is that first step. It's the moment you declare who you are, and everything else flows from there. Start tomorrow morning. 10 minutes, 3 questions. Watch how it changes your entire day. The second Stoic habit is voluntary discomfort. And this one might sound harsh at first, but stay with me, because this practice will build resilience like nothing else. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, would deliberately sleep on a hard floor, eat plain food, and wear rough clothing, not because he had to, but because he chose to. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" Why would someone do this? Because Seneca understood something crucial. Fear loses its power when you face it voluntarily. Most of us spend our lives running from discomfort. We avoid cold showers, we skip the workout, We stay in the job we hate because change feels too hard. And the longer we avoid discomfort, the more it controls us. We become fragile, afraid, dependent on perfect conditions just to function. Voluntary discomfort is the antidote. It's about choosing small, manageable challenges that train your mind to stay calm under pressure. It's about proving to yourself, again and again, that you're stronger than you think. Here's how you practice this. Once a week, do something uncomfortable on purpose. Take a cold shower. Fast for a day. Wake up an hour earlier. Go for a run in the rain. Have that hard conversation you've been avoiding. The specific action doesn't matter. What matters is the choice. You're not a victim of circumstance. You're someone who seeks challenge because you know it makes you stronger. And here's the beautiful part. When you voluntarily face discomfort, it rewires your brain. You stop seeing hardship as a threat. You start seeing it as training. When life throws something difficult at you, because it will, you don't panic, you don't collapse. You think, I've been here before, I've trained for this. This is self-love in its truest form. You're not protecting yourself from growth. You're pushing yourself toward it. You're building a version of yourself that doesn't need perfect conditions to thrive. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Voluntary discomfort is how you realize it, how you embody it. Start small. Pick one uncomfortable thing this week. Do it deliberately. Pay attention to how you feel afterward. Not broken, but unbreakable. Not weakened, but fortified. That's the power of voluntary discomfort. That's how you become someone who doesn't just survive challenges, but welcomes them. The third Stoic habit is mindful discipline over instant gratification. And this might be the most difficult habit in our modern world. Because we live in a culture designed to make you react, not respond. Every app, every notification, every advertisement is engineered to hijack your attention and give you a hit of dopamine. Scroll, click, buy, repeat. And before you know it, you've spent hours doing things that don't matter, chasing feelings that don't last. The Stoics called this being enslaved to your desires. Epictetus said it plainly, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If you can't say no to the craving, to the impulse, to the distraction, then you're not in control. Something else is. Mindful discipline is about taking that control back. It's about creating a gap between stimulus and response. It's about saying, I see the temptation, but I'm choosing something better. Let me give you a practical example. You're working on something important, and you feel the urge to check your phone. Most people don't even notice the urge. They just do it. Their hand moves automatically. But someone practicing mindful discipline, they pause. They notice the craving. They ask, is this serving me, or is this just my brain seeking easy dopamine? That pause is everything. That's where freedom lives. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." He wasn't talking about money. He was talking about desire. The person who can't resist the scroll, the snack, the purchase, that person is poor in self-control. And without self-control, you can't build anything meaningful. So here's how you practice this habit. Every day, choose one area where you'll delay gratification. Maybe it's not checking your phone for the first hour of the day. Maybe it's waiting 10 minutes before eating that dessert. Maybe it's finishing the hard task before allowing yourself the easy one. The key is the choice. You're not depriving yourself. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. And every time you do that, you strengthen your self-respect. You become someone who trusts themselves, someone who keeps promises to themselves. This is self-care because it's self-investment. You're not numbing your emotions with distractions. You're building the discipline to create the life you actually want. Marcus Aurelius would wake up and remind himself, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. He didn't wait to feel like doing the right thing. He did it anyway. That's mindful discipline. That's freedom. Start practicing it today. The fourth Stoic habit is rational self-talk, and this might be the most immediately transformative practice on this list, because the way you speak to yourself shapes everything: your confidence, your resilience, your entire reality. Most people don't realize how harsh their inner dialogue is. They make a mistake, and immediately the voice starts. You're so stupid. You always mess this up. You'll never get it right. They wouldn't talk to a friend that way. They wouldn't talk to a stranger that way. But somehow they think it's okay to talk to themselves that way. The Stoics understood that your thoughts create your experience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Not power over what happens, power over how you interpret what happens. This is the essence of rational self-talk. It's not about lying to yourself with positive affirmations. It's about questioning your automatic negative thoughts and replacing them with truth. Here's how it works. When something goes wrong, and it will, pause and listen to your inner dialogue. What's the story you're telling yourself? I'm a failure. Nothing ever works out for me. I'm not good enough. Now ask, is that actually true? Not is it feels true, is it objectively true? Usually it's not. Usually it's a distortion. You made one mistake, but your brain says always. You had one setback, but your brain says never. This is catastrophic thinking, and it's poison. The Stoic practice is to replace catastrophic thinking with rational perspective. Instead of, I'm a failure, you say, I made a mistake. That's normal. What can I learn from this? Instead of, nothing ever works out, you say, some things work out, some don't. That's life. What's in my control right now? Epictetus taught his students, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reaction begins with your thoughts. Change the thought, change the reaction. This isn't about toxic positivity. This isn't about pretending everything is fine when it's not. This is about accuracy. This is about not making things worse with irrational, self-destructive stories. When you practice rational self-talk, you become your own ally instead of your own enemy. You build a mind that supports you, that encourages you, that sees your potential instead of just your flaws. Start paying attention to your inner voice today. When it gets harsh, pause. Ask, is this true? Is this helpful? Replace distortion with truth. Replace cruelty with clarity. That's how you build unshakable self-respect. That's how you love yourself, not through empty praise, but through honest, rational, empowering dialogue. The fifth and final Stoic habit is contribution beyond yourself. And this is where everything comes together, because all the discipline, all the self-mastery, all the inner work, it's not just for you, it's for something bigger. The Stoics believed that human beings are social creatures. We're part of a larger whole. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What brings no benefit to the hive, brings none to the bee." In other words, your well-being is connected to the well-being of others. You can't truly love yourself in isolation. This might sound counterintuitive. You might be thinking, wait, I thought this was about self-care. Why are we talking about helping others? But here's the truth the Stoics discovered. Meaning doesn't come from taking, it comes from giving. When you contribute to something beyond yourself, your family, your community, your work, your values, you tap into a deeper source of fulfillment. You stop obsessing over your own problems. You stop feeling so small. You realize you're part of something meaningful. Seneca said, "No one can live happily who has regard to himself alone and transforms everything into a question of his own utility." Translation: selfishness makes you miserable. Purpose makes you whole. So here's how you practice this habit. Every week, do something that helps someone else without expecting anything in return. It doesn't have to be huge. Mentor someone, volunteer an hour, write a kind message to a friend, help a neighbor, share your knowledge. The act matters less than the intention. You're reminding yourself that you have something valuable to offer, that your life has impact, that you're not just a consumer, you're a contributor. And here's what happens when you do this consistently. You stop feeling powerless. Even on your worst days, you know you made a difference. You know you mattered. And that knowledge that you are useful, that you are needed, is one of the most powerful forms of self-respect you can build. This is the final piece of becoming unstoppable. You're no longer fragile because your worth isn't dependent on external validation. You're no longer lost because you have a purpose that transcends your mood. You're no longer overwhelmed because you're focused on what you can give, not just what you lack. The Stoics taught that the path to a good life is through virtue, and virtue isn't a feeling, it's action. It's choosing to be brave, disciplined, wise and just, not just for yourself, but for everyone your life touches. Start today. Ask yourself, how can I contribute this week? Then do it. Watch how it changes not just your day, but your entire sense of who you are. If you're ready to stop chasing comfort and start building real strength, leave a comment below saying, "I am becoming unstoppable." Let that be your declaration, your commitment to yourself. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the practices that will transform you from the inside out. This is just the beginning of your journey to unshakable self-respect. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing growth over ease. Now go prove to yourself what you're truly capable of. Stay disciplined.